was generated because of the program. At the same time, I think in UAIs they have a way to isolate like insistors, preferers, which are indications of loyalty. If there are more insistors and preferers in your customer base, then compared to those who are not receiving your program, then there is an impact. But it has to be clear from the beginning what you're trying to measure. What is it that will make you say that your relationship marketing program is successful? And then remember that relationship marketing or CRM program is something that is measured over time. Like loyalty is not built in 1 year, 2 years. So you should be able to track if are you winning more insistors and preferers? Are your brand equities becoming stronger among your current customers? So there are just ways to track it, but it's important that you track it regularly.
Okay, thanks. Great, Angeli. Now, lunch is ready. And can we all thank all the panelists who joined us? Thank you very much. Please approach me later before the end of the day. I have some gift certificates for you. Thank you. Okay, so let's break for lunch and resume the session again at 1:15. All right?
Pahabol.
Okay, more raffle prizes. These are very nice make-up containers. So kung lalaki makakuha, ano ba? Do you want na tatawag tayo ba? Or sa white niya? Tawag na lang, ano? Okay. I'd like to acknowledge the leather collection. Leather collection, thank you for the makeup bags. These are very nice bags. Tina Vargas, Basic Advertising. If you're not in the room, we have to give it to somebody else. Okay, Tina.
An agency called Nouveau Global Services. And Nouveau was founded by Carol how many years ago? 7 years ago. 7 years ago, after Carol had worked in the banking and credit card industry for as many years, no? Setting up diners and Unicard. Carol is a dear friend who has helped me with many campaigns of my own, telemarketing and otherwise, including this DMForum. Carol's Nouveau Global Services was responsible for helping me with the inbound and outbound telemarketing and coming up with and helping me come up with this fantastic number of people here. So I think that speaks a lot for itself. Carol Rowan is described by her own husband as a Darna. If you hire her, she won't disappear from you, but she'll always be there side by side. And this can be attested to by many of her clients, like Citibank, which she works with. While running the Global Services, Carol has been into a number of other marketing ventures, as well as going into direct selling and network marketing with Symmetry, where she has won various awards. So there was a question earlier about from this group whether to outsource or the telemarketing or putting up their own call center. So I think that best person to discuss that is the speaker right now. We're on to the tools of the trade. We're starting now with telemarketing, the telephone, then we'll go on to email, then we'll go on to e-commerce and e-business, and then Professor John Miranda will cap off the forum. So for now, let's please all welcome my friend and dear partner, Ms. Carol Roa. One.
Good morning! No, it's morning. Usually morning is my best time, and I always think that every time I face an audience, I don't think of the day as an afternoon because in the morning you're energized and you feel great. And it's nice to be in a big audience like this. So salamat, Mr. Chairman, for your introduction. You forgot to mention that I'm also your slave.
Page 1.
Okay. So, did you have a good lunch?
Yep.
Are you sleepy?
Yep.
Do you want to smoke? You can. You cannot exhale nga lang. I said that to a friend of mine kanina, si Richie. Okay. So, my topic this afternoon is how telemarketing can boost your DM campaigns, productivity, and profitability. Okay. The telephone is a door to opportunities. Let's listen to this. Lights off, please. Lights off.
Santos Corporation, this is Max Santos speaking. How can I help you?
Good morning, Mr. Santos. How are you? This is Trisha of Very Bubonic Fashion in Makati.
Yes, Trisha, how can I help you?
Well, I just called to say that we have an arrival of absolutely gorgeous men's pants and shoes that are so distinctive they'll make anyone look good.
Really?
May I have your waistline and shoe size so I can tell the store to prepare a few items that you can try?
Okay, I'm in the market for pants and shoes. My waistline is 32 and my shoe size is 7.5 in leather.
Okay. Would you like to come to the store this evening at 6 p.m. or would tomorrow lunchtime be better for you?
Let me check my calendar.
Well, Mr. Santos, if you come to the store before Friday, you can avail of our special 15% discount on all items and have a chance to win a raffle.
Really? In that case, I better come to the store tomorrow at lunchtime because tomorrow is Thursday.
Great! By the way, what size of dress does your wife take?
She's a medium, I guess. Do you have women's clothes as well?
Yes, we also have some new knockoff dresses she might want to see.
Really? She'd like that.
Well, may I have her contact number so I can call her too?
Yes, her landline is 812-1238 and her cell phone is 0917-4269-808.
Okay, good. Thank you for your time, Mr. Santos. You have been so kind and patient. We really look forward to seeing you in the store. Please look for Lucia or Maria when you get there.
Okay, Lucia or Maria.
Yes, and we are on the second floor of Glorieta, across Landmark.
Okay, that's very near my office.
So we look forward to seeing you there.
Yes.
Have a nice day, Mr. Santos.
You too, Trisha. Thank you very much.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Okay. That was my husband's voice. Okay. So, let's take a closer look at what Trisha is doing. Trisha works with a telemarketing firm and is doing a 2-month project for Bulaong Fashions. She's able to call 150 telephone numbers a day, and she may be able to talk to 72 prospects per day. And out of the 72 prospects she calls, about 30 come to the store and 15 buy something in the average of 3,300 when they come. Well, the others buy at a later time, but at least they buy. Now, Tricia also makes sure that she gets the prospects to refer her friends or their friends, rather the client's friends, so that her database gets increased on a daily basis. Telemarketing is a technique of using the telephone when done professionally and is integrated into the total direct marketing strategies. It helps companies build and grow business. Ito yung tinatawag natin courtship stage, no? And at the same time, telemarketing helps create and improve relationships to potential existing customers. And this is where we become intimate, no? And we know that there are companies, or a lot of companies, have loyalty building programs, retention programs, and again, we call this lifetime value in direct marketing. Why? Because we want our customers to be glued to our products and services. Now the question is, how can a telemarketing firm, or how can a telemarketing unit or group or department in a company benefit you? The strength of telemarketing is in its high level of instantaneous interaction. Dr. Ned, a while ago, this morning, mentioned that ang importante yung connectivity nyo or yung interaction nyo sa kliyente. No? And telemarketing offers an immediate direct customer contact, okay, at a relatively low cost. Why? Because in an hour, you can call 10 different companies in 10 different locations. You can promote. You can use telemarketing to say, sir, extended to yung offer namin. No? Or sir, we can still give you this discount or this incentive. No? Aside from being a sales and marketing tool, it is also good for doing other tasks, such as lead generation, prospecting, screening your clients, turning your cold lists or cold database into warm database or hot prospects, surveys, customer service, of course, that we have a lot of words out there, from telemarketing to call center to customer contact center, no? But they're all the same, basically. And of course, we use telemarketing for information drives and collection. The beauty of telemarketing is that it brings you to your customer faster. Whether you are communicating to a wide market, no, like we use direct response ad, broadsheet, or you're calling a specific target market, so you can either use outbound telemarketing or inbound. No? It makes that connection to your prospective clientele. Okay, what are the components of telemarketing? We have three. We have the hardware, software, and peopleware, except Tupperware. Okay, hardware. Siyempre, kailangan may telepono. Okay? And you may also want to add computer. Kasi ngayon, meron tayong mga computer-based, PC-based kind of system that we attach to a software. And switches, high-tech switches, and others like headsets, recording machines, no? Now, for software, very important is your telemarketing goals or objectives. You need to give, whether it's an outsourced thing or in-house, what are your goals? How many direct contacts per telemarketer? What is the conversion rate? What is the success rate? And of course, you need a very well-designed script. No? We heard also yesterday that you moments of truth, no? Because customers or clients are very busy, they're multitaskers. They don't have time to listen to a very long script. Okay? In fact, we train our telemarketers that in 3 minutes, okay, whatever they're selling, whether it's a product or service, that they should be able to determine 3 things. Do they have the money to buy? Do they have the need? Kung walang need, you have to create the need. And is he or she the decision maker? Because Kasi most of the time we talk to guys, no offense men, especially married guys, they have the money, but it's the wife who decides. So then you have to talk to the wife. Of course, the database, I cannot overemphasize that you have to have clean, updated, okay, database. And your database should also have psychographics, yung lifestyle, buying habits. And of course, the training of your telemarketing team. People or companies sometimes, when they approach me and they say, Carol, pwede ba we do it in-house and then we just train our secretaries, okay? It sounds easy, but it's not easy, okay? You cannot just get anyone just because a person knows how to talk or knows how to use the phone to be your telemarketers, okay? There is a certain level of professionalism and competency that must be present, okay? Because your telemarketers are your representatives on the phone, linking them to your customers. And again, we have, for some volume requirements, of course, like I'm sure in Citibank, they have this kind of software applications, the ACD, automatic call distribution, CTI, computer telephone integration, predictive dialing. This is very effective, especially when you're handling inbound calls. You want to measure all these things. And we go to the people where you have to have very good, okay, as I said, well-trained telephonist with good attitude and goal-driven manager. Now, if you ask me, ano ba dyan na talagang basic requirements for us to set up our telemarketing group? If you're doing in-house, if you're starting small, I've heard also that most of you have your own in-house, your own database. You just need telephone, okay? You have to have the objectives and develop a plan, your database, or you can source or rent your database, your list, and training, of course, and the people, okay? Highly qualified, would-be telesales professional. Okay, this is now the $1 million question, I think. Will I do it in-house or mag-outsource na lang kaya ako? What are the considerations for choosing one over the other? Cost. Okay. Is it cost-effective for you to set up your own? Or get an agency to do it for you? Urgency of need. Okay, most of the time, in my experience, in our experience in Nouveau, most of the clients, they give me hysterical deadline. Carol, I've launched a promo. It's not doing well. 6 months ago na yung promo. Can we have a telemarketing group to support my promo tomorrow or next week? So, if there's an urgent need for a telemarketing reinforcement, then you'd be better off outsourcing it, getting someone to do it for you. Term of project. Okay, how long? Frequency of projects. This is going to be a one-shot deal. Is it going to be quarterly? Is it going to be on a per-need basis? And of course, there's a need for sophisticated MIS or results, which again, you will have to invest in a system, or get someone, an outsourced telemarketing firm that has this degree of sophistication, like inbound queuing, predictive dialing, the things I mentioned a while ago. And the degree of specialization required from the telemarketer, like dialects. If you're going to be selling to, let's say, in Cebu, baka kailangan nyo hindi Inglesera. You need someone who will talk in Bisaya. Or if you're going to call outbound, your clients are abroad, okay, in the US, then you have to get someone who's slang. Okay? Because when you start calling, you represent the company, and you also have to be able to communicate with your customers well. So you also have to match the level of your telemarketers with the profile of your clients, your database. Now, why in-house? Bakit ako mag-in-house? Kailan ako mag-in-house? Okay? In-house telemarketing works when you have a product or service that necessitates your having a telemarketing staff on a full-time basis, whether from inbound or outbound. But there are some companies that I have dealt with, and we're still dealing with them until now. Long-term pa rin yung project, but they decided to outsource it because it's more, again, cost-effective for them. And the thing is, they don't have the headaches of running a telemarketing team. It works if the long-term cost is worth the benefits. Now, keep this in mind, no? I would always recommend that you stick to your core competencies as a company, no? So what you do is, if telemarketing is something new, or maybe you have an idea, but you're not familiar with how things are to be done correctly, okay, then maybe what you should do is keep on doing what you're doing best and outsource the rest. Here I have an example that a company who manufactures packaging materials, so that they want the workers to keep their focus on designing and mass-producing packaging materials. They decided to get someone who can telemarket and sell their products. And this is through an outsourced telemarketing firm. Okay, how do you choose an outsourced telemarketing agency? Okay. One is you have to look for a company that agrees with your company's marketing philosophy. And very important is that outsourced agency should have an experience in handling a campaign similar to yours. Again, make it a must, is ask for clients' preferences, okay, with needs similar to your campaign, so that you can cross-check. Gaano ba ito kagaling, or what was your experience in the past with this telemarketing firm? No? Because you ought to know that you're going to be paying them. And you must be able to tell your bosses that, hey, we paid this money and we were able to get our money's worth. Now, in preparing for your telemarketing campaign or project, again, you have to be very clear about the goal of the telemarketing program so that the correct scripts can be developed. Kasi ang buhay ng telemarketer nasa script. Okay? And again, as I said, kahit na magaling yung telemarketer in terms of being confident in speaking in its commands of language, no? Pero kung hindi marunong yan mag-change. Kasi sometimes, when you talk to a client, you cannot really absorb everything during the training. So there will always be a script that should guide them in terms of how the flow of conversation should be carried out. So your script is very critical. And we've heard about KPIs, no? Have or set realistic key performance indicators, no? Like how many attempts per database, per name? What's the response rate? Okay, how many direct contacts? What's the number of transactions that they have to close on the phone? Okay, you can do that. One formula that you can try using is the response rate formula, which I made, no? And this is actually computed as total expected revenue, okay, divided by the revenue per conversion, and divide again with your total database, times 100, and you get X percentage. Okay, I mentioned that the database must be clean, the number of attempts must also be set, and of course, you have to also determine the duration of the project, okay? Because if you say, okay, I'm running a campaign and I want it to be supported by telemarketing reinforcement, but I only have 4 weeks because I need to measure results after that. Then that will also determine the number of workstations, the number of telemarketers that you need to employ. aside of course from the other logistics that have to be available. Okay, some stats. Quality of database. If you're going to be working or using, let's say, X number of database, 20,000 database, okay, you can already assume that 50% of that, okay, is clean. So kung 50% of that or 10,000 na lang pwede natin gamitin, then at least in the range of 50 to 70% is your direct contact. And conversion rate should be in the league of 10 to 80%. 10% to 80%. Now, someone mentioned this morning that I think it was UNICEF, that they were very happy with 3%, no? When there is a telemarketing support, okay, you can expect the response rate not to be lower than 10%. Again, it depends on the product offer, depends on the timing, but at least with telemarketing, it shouldn't be less than 10%. Okay, so if you're working on 1,000 names, okay, you can say that 500 is usable, and then about 350 is your direct contact, which means when we say direct contact, you're able to talk to the person on the list, no? Nakausap mo during that duration of the project. And about 123 is your conversion rate. Okay. Of course, the percentages, it varies, like depends on if you're comparing it to your total database or your total direct contact. Okay, what are the fees if you are going to outsource? First, we have what we call the fixed fees. Okay, the client pays a telemarketing firm a straight fee for the project, and usually the component of these fixed fees are the salaries, okay, the overhead costs, and it's just similar to if you were to put your own telemarketing unit, you'll end up hiring people as well, right? But the only probable difference is that if you do it in-house, okay, you don't actually pay your company for the rent because it's built in. Okay, the cost is built in. You don't pay for electricity. But for outsource, everything is computed. No? So you have the salary, you have the workstation fee or the overhead cost, plus an agency service fee. Okay. Next is we have what we call conversion-based fee or commission. So in this scenario, okay, the outsourced telemarketing firm is paid only on the basis of your conversions, no, transactions. No? So most of the telemarketing firms, including myself, my company, will not be open to this kind of arrangement. Why? Because you put the risks on the part of the your telemarketing partner. And it can seriously burden the telemarketing firm's operating cash flows kasi based on transaction, on commissions. No? So this is not really a very popular kind of compensation for an outsourced telemarketing firm. The problem here is if the database that you provide is not good, okay, then it will affect the conversion rate. Okay, so malabo to, no? And as I said, most companies, telemarketing firms, are not open to this. And last will be the combination of fees, no? So there is a fixed component and there is a incentive component, no? So I have given an example here, no? This is not the way we charge, but just an example is you can pay lower fixed fee, which means, let's say, for telemarketer and a workstation in a day would cost about 800 pesos. Okay? And if you need a project assistant or a project supervisor to help co-manage the project, then you pay also extra, which is 1,200 pesos per day. So this is to cover for the salary and the workstation fee. And on top of that, you give them 10%, okay, on revenue, total revenue as commission. Okay, when outsourcing, it is very important that the client, you as a company, should keep close contact with your outsourced telemarketing firm. You know? Why? Because you have to review the results, you have to monitor the performance, audit the reports if they're really making the actual calls. Because you don't see them unless you go visit them and stay with them the whole day, during the time of the implementation of the project, then that will not be a problem. But the thing is, most of the time when people outsource a telemarketing campaign, they usually say, "Oh, Karon, bahala na kayo. Just, show me the results." But that is not proper, no? I would always say that, when we give you reports every day, audit our reports, call us, and find out if there's any problem, okay? So that we know that we're doing it according to the expectations of the client. And when we give you feedback, as we give you feedback on a day-to-day basis or weekly basis, the client, you will have to also be flexible in terms of adjusting, or doing mid-course correction if it is needed. Okay, I have here for telemarketing applications, which we have done last year and recently. Okay, on some projects that we did testing through telemarketing. So let's see what we have here. Okay, the industry or the company comes from telecommunication. The challenge is, can the company penetrate into an area where two other players are already entrenched? But the strategy was to design an offer, test 1,000 database, and profile is corporate accounts. And the benchmark for success was that we should be able to get 10% response rate of the total database. Or if it's 1,000, so that's about 100. What was the offer? What's the catch? No cash out for installation, charges to be billed in 3 equal amounts, discounted IDD rate, plus rebate for every X minutes of inbound IDD, using that new telephone line. And then all rebate recipients are entitled to a raffle, including a trip to Asia, appliances, and other consumer wear. Now, the other objectives given to us was to update the database for the correct contact person, because people move and people resign from companies. And also, they wanted to know, for those who said, no, we're not interested, why were they not interested? And they also wanted us to ask what was the image, what was the impression of the clients to that company, and the level of satisfaction of the cold party, this current service provider. So we got the information that they needed, and just to share with you, reasons for not being interested to take the offer was that they were loyal to their present carrier. Okay? And there was no need for some clients for additional lines, and wala rin silang need for IDD. Why? Because they were being called inbound, hindi outbound. Okay, so they said, we want 1,000 database to be contacted, okay? And we only have about 2 weeks to do that, Carol. So what did we do? So what we did was to hire 3 telemarketers in order to reach that period, the 9 working days, at least less than 2 weeks. And what happened was that we were able to hit 50% direct contact. And in terms of response rate or conversion, okay, you will note that there was about 9%. But that is based from the total database. If you compute 90 as against direct contact, okay, it's more than 10%. Okay? So what happened was that because of the result, we did a full launch, calling about, I I don't know about how many database really? About 30? Okay, so from that initial 1,000 tests, we launched a full-blown campaign. Okay, case 2. Again, the industry is telecommunication, but this is a different company. And what was the scenario? Okay, despite a strong tri-media campaign, okay, the IDD usage of some of the company's subscribers, okay, did not increase. So nag-tri-media sila, they were expecting na, tataas yung kanilang usage, pero hindi pa rin, no? So sabi nila, we need a telemarketing support, okay? Because one, we want to increase awareness of the offer, and we want to unearth the reasons for the seemingly lukewarm response to our offer. Now, if you look at the total number of database, that's almost 140,000 names, okay? And again, we were asked to finish the project in 2 months. So we computed, okay? So we said, okay, we will do it, but we need 21 telemarketers, okay? With 2 assistants, okay? That is 1 assistant for every 10 telemarketers, no? Kasi such a big campaign. An encoder and 1 supervisor to manage the project. Actually, the gross database rate was not really 139,000. It was more than 139. Ito yung clean database. Okay. Now, the direct contact was almost 80%. Okay, 109,000. So, our telemarketers were able to talk to almost 110,000 clients. Okay, now, out of the 109,000 clients, we found out, okay, as you can see, we found out that there were only 26% using that company's IDD. Bakit? What was the problem? Okay, and a big chunk, 74%, was not availing of their service. Now, aside from getting the number, no, increasing the awareness and increasing the usage of the IDD service, no, we were also, based on the direct contact, we were also able to get more detailed information, okay? Such as, if you look at the 26%, no, we were able to ask the frequency, how often do they use the IDD service of the company, the duration of the call, okay, and the average bill per month. So we were able to do that kind of survey. And if you look at the 74% non-user, okay, the biggest percentage, okay, is in the range of 43% no contacts because wala rin silang tatawagan na doon. No need to make IDD calls. And a large percentage, which is about 45%, said that, our relatives, our friends call us. So inbound yung IDD nila. Now, when we asked the 109,000 direct contact, no, because we also wanted to check the effectiveness of the tri-media campaign, 49% said, yes, we are aware of the promo. And about 56% said, no, we do not know anything about it. Or we didn't hear about the promo. Maybe because when we were asked to do telemarketing, the campaign has been running for more than 5 months. So may lull, no? Walang top mind recall, no? Kasi hindi agad nasundan ng telemarketing. So, project achievement, telemarketing certainly increased the awareness. And very important, again, was the extremely vital feedback that we were able to get from the database. Okay, customer acquisition. Industry, credit card company. Nope, this is not Citibank. Nope, this is not Diners. Okay, the challenge again is how can we penetrate a saturated market for credit card? So what was the objective? Acquire cardholders from a very select database. So a very profiling database na ginamit namin. And these are high-level investment owners. The offer, the usual no membership fee. Oops, I'm sorry. Feature-laden and exclusive. Distinctive co-branding of card and investment company names. No documents needed. And card could be used to pay their investments on installment. Now, the telemarketing objective was to at least hit 100% direct contacts and achieve a 40% conversion rate. Okay, let's see what happened. Okay, we were given 34,000 database, and again they said you have to finish it in 2 months. So we said, okay, if that's the case, we need 10 telemarketers, 2 assistants, 1 encoder, and 1 supervisor. Now, if you take a look at it, I don't have to go through each level, no? Out of the 34,000, we were able to get 17,000 direct contact, okay, and that's even more than 50%. And if you look at the interested to receive the card, okay, 12,000 said yes. Now, 36% represents the percentage vis-a-vis total database. If you remember, the objective was to hit 40%. If you compare 12,000 with a direct contact, it's even more than 40%. Okay? So the project achievement, what the direct contact target of 100% was not achieved. Again, we can say that the conversion rate was hit, more than 40%. So a total of 12,400 cards were issued to the database, and if you compare it again to another medium of selling cards, no, you would have needed 80 salespersons working on 12,000 gold for 24 months just to hit what our telemarketers did in 2 months. Okay, last. Print ad support and measurement. Industry, bank. Company's objective, acquire customers for their introductory loan packages. This is not actually a local bank, this is an OBU, offshore bank. And media used was through Philippine Daily Inquirer, Manila Bulletin, Philippine Star, so these were the daily companies we used. And the print ad features highlighted the solid name in the international banking community, low interest rates, world-class superior service comparable to their global branches. And what the 3 cases were more of outbound. This is an inbound program. So the objectives, to screen all inbound calls and pass bona fide inquiries to the correct bank departments, answer questions about the bank and its products, and get feedback from callers to measure the effectiveness of the print ad campaign. So we had more than a month, so we put 4 telemarketers to answer the calls, and we would say that out of the 100% calls received, 99% were willing to give the information that we needed, because we also had to do surveys. And on a weekly basis, you can see that the fourth and fifth weeks were the highest in terms of having inbound calls received. Kasi usually the first week, mahina pa yung flow ng calls, yung influx ng calls. But as you go along, then it build up. Again, I don't know if there's someone here from PDI. Okay. 38% of the calls we received said that we read it from PDI, followed by Manila Bulletin and Philippine Star. And in terms of type of inquiries, because they were promoting their real estate loans, 51% called because they wanted to know more about the real estate loans. And you can also see here, because they're a new bank, 80% of the calls said, "Nasaan ho ba yung branch niyo?" Okay, yung pinakamalapit na branch. There were also job vacancies, who called to us for, meron ba kayong opening? Okay. So, project achievement, based on the final data, the print ad campaign was deemed very effective and attractive in penetrating into the market, no? Because 80% or 86% of all callers said they phoned in because of the print ad. Of course, they were also very attracted to the low interest rates, and bulk of the calls for loan inquiries were for real estate loan refinancing, which means gusto nila mag-switch, no? Not just for new customers, but those customers would like to transfer their loans to this bank. Callers even commended the bank for lowering their interest rates despite the Asian crisis. Okay. And then, of course, peaks in inbound calls came on the days when the print ad appeared in the chosen broadsheets. Okay. Parting words. I told RD this morning that I had to insert this last slide because most of my colleagues, co-speakers, had these parting words. So my parting word for you for today is that modern and state-of-the-art gizmos will probably continue to radically change your home, my home, our workplace, and our lives, but one important piece of equipment will remain unchanged and enduring, and that is the telephone. A door to opportunities for all of us. Use it properly, use it correctly, then you build a lifetime relationship with your customers. Thank you very much for your time. You've been very, very patient with us.
Thank you, Carol, on behalf of the organizers, although kasama ka doon. I'd like to present this token of our appreciation. Let's give a hand to Ms. Carol. Thank you again. Yes. Okay, we're going to hold the questions and gather all the questions after the next two speakers. So we have the telephone, and now we're going to move on to new media. The next two speakers will talk about email marketing, and then we'll go on to websites. So, is Margot Torres here ready? Okay, there you are. All right, so we can move on. To be honest with you, among all the speakers, this is the only speaker I haven't even met yet. We've only talked on the phone. And to tell you honestly, the next speaker is also one of our sponsors. Okay. Although I don't want to be accused of giving a sponsor time to sell the product, when I was going around and asking people, okay, we have to talk about email marketing at the Direct Marketing Forum. So I went around, and then it would always go back to Margot Torres, who just happened to be a sponsor. And even before, when I was going even a year ago, I was asking people in the direct marketing industry, who should be approached about email marketing? DM Plus, which I co-owned, was still trapped into direct mail. And we are wondering, we have to shift, we have to look into this new medium. And then one day I saw a EDSA mail free CD being given away in the stores. I don't know if you've seen that around. And I tried it. And now, even before we approached SNL sponsors, I've been an EDSA mail user a couple of months ago. And it's great because I don't have to pay for ISP costs just to download and upload my email. Okay? Just with a modem, you connect to download your email. The only thing is that while you're waiting for your email to download, you're going to see some ads. And I don't mind. Okay? During the process of registration, you'll also have to fill out some information. And you need opt-in, which I think Margot will talk about. But to properly introduce Margot, okay, Margot Torres is the General Manager of EDSA Mail. She joined them since its inception. few months after, and ever since has been spreading the gospel of email marketing and new media, maximizing new media opportunities. Margot herself has been on the other side. She's worked for multinationals like Unilever and Pepsi Cola, so she knows her stuff. So without further ado, let's welcome the speakers, talk about this in other countries as well. In Hong Kong, in Asia, Hong Kong is Asia, no? In Singapore, and in London as well. So let's welcome Margot.
That's just artists that makes years of saying he doesn't know what to say about me because we never really met until now. I actually feel like some of my case studies have already been presented. Okay, I was told yesterday that Vicky Soriano had shared with you something about bonds. Okay, but I'll share that with you also this afternoon. And Angeli of Indio also shared with you in part, in passing, about Ford. But I'll get into detail also today. Let me start with this. Okay, you'll see here different forms of media that I consider revolutionizing the way we actually convey our messages to anybody or to a certain group of people. The book is the first one. And you know, of course, that this is a revolution in communication, mainly because one person ideas can be printed, reprinted, and shared to a lot more people. But that's the book. Then the newspaper came in. And the newspaper is able to now reprint not just a person's ideas, but several people daily. And radio came in and they put an audio behind the print, and you now have a personality behind the news. And of course, we all love television. It's audio, it's video, and it has such wide reach, especially in this country, and probably all over the world. But to us, what we define as new media, and that's not necessarily the internet alone or a website, brings really interactivity. Now for DM practitioners such as yourselves, I think you will start to see the value of this. And you will see towards the end of the talk that television is really not the answer when it comes to interactivity. Just a little thank you from our shareholders. We are owned by the Ayala Corporation, the Yuchenko Group of Companies, KivoServe, as well as venture capitalists Hambrick and Quist, Jafco, Walden International Group, and New Era. We are strategically working with a lot of technology partners, including IBM and Globe Telecom for our internet data center, just so you know that as a technology company, we are also backed up by these names. Just a little about ourselves. We now have 750,000 subscribers regionally, both in the Philippines and Singapore. I think Vicky Soriano yesterday said something like 700,000. He must be referring to the Philippines alone. Without spending any more money on distribution of our CDs, we're still able to increase our subscribers by 30,000 a month. I will go through all of these marketing solutions and DM solutions in the next few minutes. Some of our advertising clients, Unilever, Levi's, Heinz, PLDT, Globe Telecom, even Smart, who signed up recently. Nestle, who is not on the screen, but also has a direct marketing venture with us. The three names at the bottom, Diners, Sony, and National, are our clients in Singapore. Let me just go through 4 new media opportunities. Let me start with the banner ad. Question, is it dead? And everybody asks, you know, there's really a school of thought that says the banner ad doesn't work. You have large multinational corporations with strong brands, like a Coca-Cola. Anywhere you look from afar, you see the logo, you already know it's Coca-Cola, or Motorola, or any of the Procter & Gamble and Unilever brands. To them, there is no sense investing in a banner ad to build their brand because the brand is built. And yet, people are not able to see that there is another function to a banner ad. And if you just allow me, The banner ads on EDSA Mail actually rotate every 15 seconds and are interactive. And that's my point about interactivity. But before I proceed, I need you to understand, I already mentioned that with EDSA Mail, you do not need an ISP. We actually offer free dial-up to our networks for you to send and receive email from all over the world. But I need you to look at EDSA Mail not as a website. I need you to look at it as the preview of any customer to the full internet experience. Before they even go online and connect to the net, the first thing they will see is their PC, and they will look at the applications on that PC. And 750,000 people already have EDSA Mail on their PC. And therefore, it is the preview to before they even actually get into the World Wide Web. And already in that software, we have embedded these banner ads. I'll just go through 6 cases of different types of new media to show you as well, share with you the results. RD, because you'll obviously most of these cases are EDSA Mail, I hope you don't mind because it's difficult to actually get results from other websites or from other forms of media. Okay, but we're unselfish. Okay, we share these things to a lot. Just to reiterate, if let's say you had 1 million ISP subscribers in the Philippines, just to give you an idea, there are 1.3 million as of Q2 2001 based on an AC Nielsen study. Let's assume that 30% of them read news online and they're already into the habit. So your eyeball reach has gone down to 300,000. They have choices. They have CNN.com, they have Philstar, they have Inc7, ABS-CBNnews.com. Let's assume that the leading news website has a market share of 70% of those eyeballs, and therefore they get 240,000 unique visitors. What we are able to do, because we are not a website and we are not online, but we are really resident software in a computer, with our subscribers in the Philippines of 700,000, 80% of which do not subscribe to a monthly ISP, and therefore the likelihood of them belonging to the 240,000 or 1 million ISP users is low. You have extended the eyeballs by another 500,000. Speaking of the banner ads now, I'll go into the cases. Let's start with what we started called Cooks Online. Cooks Online, you will see now a banner ad can build your database. If you click, that pops up. And you'll see below it says, just send an email to cooksonline@edsmail.com.ph. And that's a clickable email. So they just have to click and it's sent out, they queue it and they send it out. You make it really easier for them to subscribe and a little more difficult for them to unsubscribe. Okay, so you have a database that's growing. In 5 months, by May, we were at 30,000 already. I think today, there are around close to 40,000 names of our database who enjoy our network for free and who want to receive e-recipes. This is really following the essence of what we call permission marketing. In our parlance, it's opting in. You have to opt in through the banner and to build the base. Because it's useless to spend money on mass media, as you all know, being DM practitioners, if you're not going to be listened to. You might as well spend your money on somebody who already gave their permission. Barrage me with all the information I need. Heinz UFC has already come in as a sponsor. There are some other food companies lined up with this kind of application. And what they do is they are able to present their product and they're able to share a recipe to the 40,000 who have opted in and yet be able to push their line of goods. Or in this case, it's UFC. Ponds did the same thing. What Ponds did was they also invested in a banner ad. And you may be investing in it to build a database, but at the same time, you're not wasting your money because you do have the exposures, or what you call impressions in terms of measuring the effectivity. In television terms, that's called TARPs. Okay, here, in internet terms, it's impression, or how many times is your banner ad actually exposed to an eyeball and to the reach of that particular database. So when you click, and again, there is a measure of clicks. How many actually clicked on that banner ad and saw that pop-up? Went through the exercise of actually answering a PONS questionnaire. Here are the results. On advertising mileage alone, they are able to show their banner ad 40 million times a month on EDSA Mail. In terms of clicks, you have 180,000 who click. It's probably a really small percentage if you measure that against exposures. But I think the real test here is how many of those who click actually submitted their names. And I don't think you've seen such attractive numbers as 10%, okay, through this electronic medium, where you have 10% that actually clicked. I just need to know, was Dicky able to share the whole PONS program?
Yes.
Did he show it? Okay, so I won't go through that. This is actually the direct email of PONS, and this is how it looks. So you have 18,000 names that have given information about what competitive products they use based on the program given by Unilever. And it is split into the normal category of skin, dry, combination, and they receive different types of content. Okay, and of course, the content pushes their product. But to those who have opted in, it is of value because they're able to get skincare tips. Another example of how to use a banner ad, and this time, it's not so much in database building, but I think something really intrinsic in making your DM campaign work, which is e-research. EDSA Mail has its own prepaid internet card called Maxes, and we wanted to know how it was doing, and since we knew that a percentage of our base already buy prepaid internet cards, we invited them to join this survey. So your banner says all prepaid internet card users answer this survey and win. We only were willing to award, I think, 100, the first 100 with a Maxes card. But it was such an overwhelming response in just a span of maybe 9-10 days. We had over 10,000 who actually replied. I believe that's statistically significant if you actually look at the data that we were able to produce. So even on e-research, even on advertising, if they really want to measure the effectivity, then this is an immediate way to actually get a survey going. You don't go through the tedious process of face-to-face, and it's an automatic data processing on our back end. Case study number 4, we call EDSA Mailer. Here we offer, again for free. So you'll see, RD, I'm not selling our product. We don't sell anything. Everything is free with EDSA Mail. Okay, all free, it says. Click here. What we're doing is actually building a database for people who may choose different types of mailers, EDSA mailers as we call it. Topics on business, health and fitness, home and decor, or here we included Cooks Online, the e-recipe category. Here we have different content providers already. We are currently tied up with the Mega Magazine Publishing Group, and we are open to other content providers. Here already you have a targeted base, again who have given their permission. The most popular is teens, more than 20,000. Okay. Then you have men, health and fitness, and women. The least popular in our base, at least, looks like home and decor. Okay, but yet, that's still 15,000 names who have given their permission. I want to read the content that comes from Family Reader or Mega or Meg. And it is a perfect time, therefore, to catch their attention because they will read that mail and you're sure that it is not part of any clutter. And so you can have something that looks like this. Axe actually sponsored EDSA Mailer Men. And they really created the look because we are HTML capable, so you can be very creative with it. Let me just stop for a while, okay? I want to show you some emails I've gotten on my own email client. Okay. I opted in also to Yes Mail. Okay, I'm part of the Yes Mail database, mainly because I'm a Palm user. And when you log on to the Palm site, they make you part of the Yes Mail database, and they push these kinds of direct emailers to you. But the worst part is, gosh, I can actually win a Fujitsu notebook, and I got excited, only to discover that they didn't apply to the Philippines. Okay, so it's the most frustrating thing. So, to me, that's really bad practice. I mean, spamming in general. But then, you can't really consider that a spam because I opted in. But the problem is, when it's anything on the internet, you really don't know where they are. Okay, and I think they should put that facility in. At least here, because you know that the EDSA Mail user is in Metro Manila, only because this is where we give our access for free. And because before they even register, they really give us their profile. Okay, I got another one from San Miguel. I got invited to the Oktoberfest. Okay, this was dated October 4. It pleased me so much that I got something from San Miguel, because then I believed that I thought, oh my gosh, these people actually believe in email marketing. But I was part of a database of all the business cards they had collated. And again, I encourage you to, it's good if you really know these people personally. They didn't particularly know me. They just got my business card. But we had already been discussing with them to do some email marketing on EDSA Mail. And they were reviewing that. So when I saw it, oh great, that means they really bought into the concept. Except that in our discussions, they were particularly strict on target market. And that target market was me for the Oktoberfest. I guess my email address isn't too feminine. It was mdtorres@edsmail.com, and perhaps that's why I got an invitation. Next. We also have leap ads, which is another type of new media. This is not a banner ad, it's much bigger. It's the first thing you see when you use your EDSA Mail software. It's what you see when you check mail and you download mail. It's what you see when you send mail, and they call it forced viewing. I'll show you an example of a leap ad. This is for Levi's, one of the first of a series of 3. It says, want to get a 501 discount from Levi's that you can enjoy in their Glorieta store? Email Levi's at Coolmax. Levi's Coolmax at edsmail.com.ph. Because the leap ad is not really interactive, you can't just click on it. Not like the banner ad. It did not generate as wonderful as results, and yet to Levi's, they were happy that they already got, in 2 weeks, close to 3,000 who actually emailed and printed out the auto-reply for it to become a discount coupon when they visit the store in Glorieta. I mean, it was one store. It was enough traffic for them. But the point I want to make here is that particular leap ad eventually changed into a product called Super Low Jeans for Levi's, and you have this really pretty girl. Except that we had, are there any EDSA Mail subscribers in here who have seen that Levi's ad? Okay, I'm glad to see that it's not just the males raising their hands. We actually had email received through customer service complaining about that. After that, we had an ad on Levi's engineered jeans. Have you seen their billboard on C5? Okay, you can imagine more graphic images like that on your EDSA Mail while you're downloading your mail. Again, we had people complain. But the people who actually complained were a Sister Mary Pilar and a Monsignor. Okay, telling us that we had the moral responsibility to the youth Of course, we explained that they're all adaptations from existing material, which is in other forms of media. But still, we took that seriously. Now we're forming our own creative review board internally just to make sure that we don't offend the religious community. But the point was this. There was also a mother who said, you know, I have a 3-year-old and a 4-year-old. If it's television, I can just change the channel. If it's radio, I can shut it off. Except that it's email and I'm downloading my mail. You know, how can I turn this off? Then I'll never get my email. And to us, if we could just pick out that quote and show it, and I can show it to you on the side, except it sounds so negative. She was actually complaining, that was the context, but to us, it proved that that was forced viewing. Wala siya, pilitan siya. And therefore, taas ng recall nung ad. Okay, so we were pleased at least on the media angle, perhaps not so much on the creatives. And moving into email, which is still considered the most efficient vehicle according to a survey of just 42 marketers when you use it for online promotions. Okay, let's move to some cases. Within EDSA Mail, as you register, you will be asked, what topics are you interested in to receive content? Again, permission-based. So one of the topics there is automobiles. When we did a query on how many subscribers who registered clicked on automobiles, I think we reached something like 100,000. But then our client, which is Ford through Indio, said, no, I'm only interested in those who earn a lot of money enough to buy a Ford Expedition and belong to a certain age range. I believe Angeli showed other forms of media that they use to drive traffic to the Ford Freedom Festival website. One of them was EDSA Mail. We only ended up from 100,000 who actually said, I'm interested in automobiles, content about it. We were, I think, left with 4,000 plus, a little less than 5,000. But because it was so targeted, our response rate was 25%. So you had 1,000 people who actually clicked and they were able to monitor that it came from EDSA Mail. I think what we're not yet privy to in terms of data is, are these the people who actually bought? Or did they just go to the website? Or did they even visit the store? But at least you know that if you're able to really define your target market, and we can do that because of the profiling, then you will get value for money in terms of investing in an electronic campaign. So in terms of target, we have a lot of students, mostly single subscribers, college. Age range is this. Let me pause for a while. We have most of them coming from the 20 to 32 range, and 1/4 from 12 to 20. This is being audited at the moment by AC Nielsen to check if exactly this age range I'm showing you is really our database. We're doing it in 2 phases. Phase 1 is an electronic email survey, and phase 2 is an actual face-to-face traditional method. But I've seen the partial results of the electronic survey, and we are very encouraged. Aside from the fact that when we do run our own promotions, as we did in the past, we gave away 30 cell phones and 30 PCs. We only had to redraw 4 names. So that's a 90+% confidence level on the validity of our database. This is income. You have 38% who have a less than 6,000 pesos monthly income. I need to explain this because in our prior versions of EDSA Mail of 1.1 and 1.2, this was a default. And it was, if you did not click and correct the income level, you will end up counted in this category. So it looks a bit bloated. Some people think that's probably the students, the 34%, but that's not the case. It's really because it was a default in our earlier versions, which we have corrected already. We also asked about occupation, and as I mentioned earlier, about the interests. Most of them do not subscribe to a monthly ISP. And if that doesn't interest you, that database, you can create your own. You can certainly use the software to communicate to your database, just like Unilab, through their brand Enervon. They give this away to pediatricians. Very, very targeted market. They give it away in a convention. So the doctors felt good because, oh great, I now have email and it's free. Not only that, they gave away an internet card. They actually privately labeled our Access card. And you end up sending an electronic newsletter and pushing all your products to them through email. You use up all the banners and it's dedicated. That particular build of the Enervon City is dedicated to pediatricians. Then of course you have the website, but who was the speaker yesterday? Was it Ichay? Who said that you might fall into the trap of you build your website and you just assume that everybody goes there to visit it, the field of dreams fallacy. Okay? You'll invest so much money in a huge billboard and pay $500,000 pesos a month just so you're seen in EDSA with your URL. Wow, that's what they call it, www.yourcompaniesname.com. But will they actually visit? Okay? We have now patented what you call Surf Plus in the States. It works on the principle of sponsored minutes. Enable your customers and let them visit your website. This was used by Universal Records to launch Karil, the daughter of Jaja. They gave the card away on every Karil CD that was bought in the music stores, and it works this way. Universal Records gave away 1 hour free internet access, but you only got 10 minutes in the card, and you had to get the balance to complete your full hour only if you visit the website of the sponsor. In this case, it's Universal Records. And by the time you visit their website, what you have is you've already been exposed to the fact that Gary Valenciano is also the artist, and so is Parroquial Edgar. And to us, if you feel you have fallen into the field of dreams fallacy, then this is likely the answer to really drive traffic to your website. You know, somebody said, a friend of mine in research, they started out actually in research in Unilever. He now works for Nestle. And the joke was, if they wanted to bring up the volume of pet food, they thought maybe they should just give away dogs for free. Siguro pag pinamigay mo yung aso, tataas yung pet food volume nila. Okay? So same thing, no? Same principle. Of course, there's some moral and humane reason why they didn't do that. Nestle being a very credible company. But you know, the thought, the principle is that you want them to go to your website, give them the access. Okay? And you're not going to give it forever anyway. You're really just going to sample the website to their eyes. Let me end with this. It looks like everybody has a parting shot. Seth Godin said this: the internet is the greatest direct marketing medium ever invented. It is not television. Seth Godin, of course, is from Yoyodyne, which he sold to Yahoo, and he's become a millionaire, and he now writes books. I encourage you to read his book also called Permission Marketing. Thank you very much for your time.
Margot, nice to meet you. On behalf of the Direct Marketing Forum, Salt and Light Ventures, and Direct Marketing Association, we present to you this token of appreciation. Okay. Maybe we can ask, if someone has one question while we're setting up for the next speaker's talk. Is there any question or else? Okay.
We're very interested in the medium. Just a question. Do you have a product lockout or brand?
No, we do not. If you mean product lockout for the software, we don't. I mean, there are times na nagsasabay magkalaban. But if you mean the mail,
The advertisers. For example, Heinz is advertising in that medium.
no, there's no lockout.
organized.
No lockout. But of course, for the mailer part, for example, the books online, like you mentioned, Heinz, if they book that spot for that week, for the dispatch of the week, automatically, I mean, we don't do 2 dispatches. Because that's, we also worry about our network traffic. So if they're already there for that week and they're booked, hindi naman lockout yun. I mean, but wala na, sila yung nauna. But we're like, you have to treat us like any medium. You know, if you have television, radio, and print, perhaps we're the first electronic media or digital media that's set up in terms of being a digital media company.
We'll have Margot join us at the forum later. Please stick around. We're in Caro Roa, Margot Torres, and the next speaker will be joining us. Now let me talk about the next speaker and introduce him a little bit. Joseph Alieva is one of those internet whiz kids that you read about in the papers. And you know, the people who set up their internet companies at the age of 19 or 20. You know, si Joseph medyo late siya, 24, when he set up his own internet.com company. 2 years ago, he set up shop here in Makati, and within less than 2 months, I don't know how he did it, has over 600 companies as clients. Okay. And Joseph's presentation will actually maybe answer that question, how he did that. Now, as Ichay was saying, how do you build the most beautiful website, but and Margot reiterated that, how do you drive people to visit that website? Okay. Now, Joseph knows all about that. And Joseph and his brother Gerald have been partners and founders of the company called Online Brands Philippines. So let's all welcome Mr. Joseph Alieva. Copies of Joseph's talk will follow after
I'm going to be giving you a gift today. The gift is 7 deadly sins and the 7 golden rules about internet marketing on how to successfully drive traffic and build your brand online. While it's playing here. Number 1, deadly sin is letting your IT department only manage your internet marketing. Everything that was said today by the wonderful speakers here in the last 2 days apply directly online to profiling, to doing research, to actually building your brand. So number one rule here, You have to involve your marketing department. Your website is there to promote your brand, to interact with your client base. That means you must use your marketing know-hows to attract the customer, to get the customer inside, to keep them loyal, build the client base. So, one, you must use your marketing department. Number two, this is actually, companies look at their website as only an information center and not a profit center. The internet is one of the best tools to grab information, to research your client base. You should use the internet to promote it, not only if you sell directly online, but also if you're just trying to build your brand. Just because you don't advertise through the TV, you see people have Nike and they have their shoes. You don't necessarily, at the end of their commercial, tell you what locations to buy their shoes at. The internet website is the same way. You don't necessarily have to sell through the same venue that you advertise through. So you need to promote your website whether or not you have an e-commerce website. Sites also need to be like your home. Someone needs to come to your site, be able to see it's nice and neat and tidy and not have errors on it. And also, they have to be able to navigate through the site to keep high retention rates and high loyalty return rate. Number three, the internet is not a mass marketing. You don't use gunshot techniques like some of the other ways. The internet actually, if you use it properly, you can target your clients the best tool ever invented. If I go back in time, you had the newspaper. That was a marketing tool you had to use at that time to develop communications with your client base. And then you had the telephone. And after the telephone, you had the TV. After the TV, you had computers and internet. And even what's going to surpass the internet will be WAP and 3G phones and broadband, etc. It's only going to get more targeted, more cost efficient for you to market to your client base and research your client base on their needs, and better to supply your services and products to your client base. So you want to use the cost efficiency of the ROI, return on investment, is much higher if properly used, the internet here. Pull marketing, something that doesn't exist offline. Philippines is the capital of push marketing, if you ask me. I get hit by someone pushing something at me every day, at least 5-10 times a day. Okay. Number four. This was investors, when the internet first came about, they actually looked at stocks. They gauged stocks on hit rates. Falsified, fictitious hit rates, which actually was supposed to create value, right? Content was the first paradigm on the internet. Content is king. Well, actually, that's one of the success models you need to have to build a successful business online. But there's three important issues, which is a paradigm shift. In 1995, everyone would have talked about content. In 1999, fourth quarter, you would have saw a crash, which we predicted in 1997. That's because we understand something. But now the third model of the internet paradigm shift, which is actually spoken today about, which is CRM, client relationship management. All of these are very important issues, but the first most important issue that people are missing today is visibility. Penetrating and positioning in the market to get the market. Once you position yourself, then the content becomes an issue when they see what the content is. And then third, the CRM, how to deal with the clients that like your content and decide to do business with you. So I saw Giordano in Hong Kong. Giordano in Hong Kong said to me, we don't need your service. We don't need to drive traffic to our site. We have 90,000 hits in only 6 months. Well, 6 months after that, Giordano Online closed down. Why is that? Well, they have 100 employees, and every time their employees come to work, they dial up the internet, boom, one hit to their homepage. Sure, they got lots of hits, but they haven't sold a penny. That's because that's not a quality buyer. That's their employee. Unfortunately, banneritis. This is something that has plagued the industry. Companies like 24/7, DoubleClick, we spoke with them in Singapore, etc., Microsoft, Yahoo. They've tried to make interactive banner ads today to try to help the hit ratio. But if you looked at the statistics prior as well, you will see that the hit ratios are not great ratios. Anything that you use to drive traffic to your site will help. Anything. We're for everything that drives traffic to sites. But URL euphoria. This is something that investors love to see. You know, you go on EDSA, as was explained, you go on EDSA and you see your www. The investor says, oh, my company's doing a good job. I see my company everywhere, but it doesn't drive hits to websites. 8% of purchases online have to do with brands. Only 8%. 92% have nothing to do with the brand name. The internet, using TV for instance, you cannot click on a TV ad that you see today. Tomorrow, it'll be different. You'll be able to click actually on the ad when you see it. So using the TV to promote websites has a very low hit ratio, as well as you go on EDSA and you can't take out your 3G phone or your wireless connection to your laptop and try to visit a website. I'm sure you pass thousands of ads that you see in the newspaper and the TV, go see a movie, etc. They have affiliate programs where the NBA gets with a manufacturer of basketballs to print their www on it. Number one for offline marketing is brand awareness. Absolutely nothing is better than using offline ads and media for brand awareness. But driving traffic on sites, it just doesn't work. Ask anyone who's done it, their hit ratio did increase for a couple months. As soon as the offline ad stopped, boom, the traffic died, went back to where it was, and they had very little business that was brought. So no brand loyalty was built. Well, this is the deadliest sin of all. Why? It's high cost and low return, as I was just saying. So brand awareness is, the offline ads are the brand awareness, and the online ad is the visibility is the king. And how do you get visibility on the internet? Well, after the do's, let's have the don'ts. We gave you the 7 deadly sins so you can be aware of the basic blunders in e-commerce. Now we can give you the 7 golden rules of advertising. To boss your website to the highest heavens forever. We count in reverse from 7 to 1. Can I do a survey real quick? Can I have everyone stand that uses the internet? Everyone who uses the internet, email, whatever, you use the internet, please stand up. Feels good, doesn't it? All right. Everyone, please, no, stay standing, excuse me. Everyone who uses the internet, please stay standing. Anyone who uses the internet. Now look around, you probably won't see too many people sitting, right? Yes? Okay, now, everyone who uses the internet here that's standing, take a seat. If you don't use search engines like Yahoo, AltaVista, InfoSeek, Google, MSN, Hotbot, AOL, if you don't use a search engine, sit down. Why is everyone still standing? Okay, everyone have a seat.
Keep going.
Positioning in the marketplace is important. You're able to grab visibility to your market by using search engines. In a survey in the States, 80% of any company that has a website said that 80% the most viable way to promote their website was through search engine based. Because of a company, largest media company in the world called
AOL.
The ISP AOL merged with Time Warner. And because of that, now you have a selling of keywords to AOL on any large companies that advertise TV commercials. They know you're not going to remember the www, the URL, when they have the advertisement on TV. So if there's a flower company, they will say AOL keyword flower company. They know you'll remember, if you want a flower company, you should go to AOL and type flower company, because then you're going to find the respectable or advertising company that you should be able to go visit, which will be there at number 1. So there's a thing that we have developed called the matrix. I'll explain what the matrix is. The matrix is 18 search engines where 85% of unique visitors to websites come from. 85% of unique visitors come from 18 search engines. Then you have top 20 position. Top 20 position. 97% of all these users, including yourself out here, don't get past the second page. And then what fills the density of this box or cube or matrix where 85% of the business is keywords. Keywords that you all type in the engines. Because someone's doing their own time, they're time committed, they've typed the keyword, they're looking for a product or service, you have built someone who's a quality visitor. They have chosen to visit you, not you pushing your brand on them. It's pull marketing. And then if the content is correct and the CRM is done properly, you will then have loyalty. I asked, is there any clothing manufacturers here? Or anyone? No? Anyone? No? Do you know what lines our pockets? Anyone know what lines our pockets? What lines our pockets is database. Database. And database is the best way to build a database is through the internet. There's actually software out there that you can use for email marketing or whatever to actually analyze who sent out, who replied, to actually send out autoresponders. These are a great way to interact with your client base. There's 5 ways to arrive at a site today. I explained 85% come from search engines. I'll explain the other 4 ways. 1, banner ads. 2, links. You click on a link on someone's website. Links are a great way for you to build B2B relationships and B2C relationships. If you are a company that sells hotel rooms, you're a hotel in Cebu, you want to have on your site all of the other travel agents, the airlines, the car rentals, everything in the industry. And then you want to get your name on their sites. So you want to build links to other relevant sites. The most important place for you to link on the World Wide Web is the center of the web, which just happens to be the backbone of the United States. And all these links are compiled on this web. Everyone goes to 85% of unique visitors go to search engines. So you want to have your name there on every place that's relevant to your business, so your corner store is there. 2, you want to be in links of relevant sites. So if someone goes to a hardware store and you sell bathtubs, maybe they're building a home, they should know your company. And the person who owns that site should know your company. They can refer business to you, right? So you build links. Now, email marketing is the 4th way, which is actually registered. And the survey in the United States is the second best way to drive traffic to your site. 1, over 60% of search engines. 2 is the target email mailings. Now, the 5th way to get to a site is actually knowing the address and typing it in. That comes from you seeing it in an advertisement, a print ad, a TV, a billboard, a meeting, exhibition. You know the address, type it in. Those 4 ways only drive 15%. Can you believe it? You know how much money is spent on these 4 ways to drive traffic to websites? Email, links, banners, And typing the address in, all the offline ads, only drives 15%. So you have to learn to sell the way people buy. Pre-positioning, you actually can build a strategy online. We actually can go into the internet and find out the most commonly typed. We know how many people are typing Hotels Philippines in the search engine, how many people are typing Air Travel Philippines or Hotel Cebu. So we actually can build a strategy for positioning online through keywords. Then, this is a great way for you to build your database. Once again, you can put a cookie on your site. You want to interact with any client that ever emails you. Don't lose them. You have someone already on your hook. The World Wide Web is like a big ocean. And you have all these fish swimming by. There's 3 billion web pages on the internet today. Last year there was 2 billion. It's growing at extraordinary rates. And the clutter of the internet is only going to get worse. It does not get better as it gets bigger. It's the opposite way. People think, well, maybe I shouldn't get online yet. But wait, there's not that many people. There's 7.2 million already here in the Philippines. That's not subscribers, that's users. Like, for instance, all of Ayala is considered one user because that's one connection. All of San Miguel, one connection, one user. Of course, that's not the case. So everyone on online brands. So listen to your competition. You should be out there looking at websites of your competition. Find out where they're positioned on the web. Find out what they're selling. What applications are they using on their website? These things you should do when you build your website. You should be interested in your competition. We actually have a technology we can find out every single word, top 100 sites in any keyword position in any search engine, what all the words they're trying to use to position in. To analyze your competition. Now, when you're building a site, another thing you should be concerned with is 2 issues. When people come to your site, there's the type of person that already knows, they've already been there. They actually want to go right to the suggestion form or the guest book or the e-commerce part. And then there's going to be the type of person that's never seen your site before, not a very avid internet user. You're going to have to hold their hand. It has to be very navigational friendly. They have to be able to know what you're offering, everything the site has on it when they enter the site. A lot of these sites you go to, you get in them, you get lost. You can't get out. That's not a properly designed site. Also, you have these errors. Large graphics. How many people have gone out to websites where you see X's where images are supposed to be? Or you get a page cannot be displayed, cannot connect, host not found, file not found, server not found. All of these errors are bad for branding, and you'll lose your customers even before you got them or had a chance to get them. And if you had them, now they're gone. I will show you afterwards some of the technologies we have to combat some of these problems. Number 3, use marketing dollars, not IT dollars. The internet is a new medium, the 4th medium, not to try medias. Internet, the word interactive was created in the 20th century because all the other tri-internet medias were not interactive. But I tell you, that word will become obsolete in the 21st century because everything you have in your daily life will become interactive. Join the gold rush. Well, if you're not online today, start building your market. Get online. More and more people are going to be online, and you'll be able to build more market share every day. Companies that exist like Yahoo, Hotmail, ICQ, Dell, Amazon, eBay. These companies got big because they were the first ones in their industry to get online. That will never, ever repeat itself, that model. Everyone else has to fight for it. If you look at the top 40 richest men on the internet, under the age of 40, they all got it from earning millions on the net. The top 40 richest men in the world, underneath 40, the age of 40, earned it from the internet. Coca-Cola started in 1890s. How long did it take them before most of the world knew who they were and they have such market share? McDonald's, 1950s. How long did it take them to get the market share and everyone to know who McDonald's was across the world? Yahoo, 1980s. How long did it take them? Or Hotmail, Microsoft. So with the internet tool, you're able to build your market faster, better, cheaper. Well, the number one golden rule is get help. Outsourcing is the king to building a successful business. Whether it's telemarketing, anything that your company is not your main competence at, you should outsource for it. That's how companies grow. Registering your site is not enough in the search engines. You type any keyword in the search engine, you get tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, or millions of choices. And I can explain to you later, if you'd like, how the search engines work, how they rank their systems, how to try to get a ranking, etc. If you're interested, you can come talk to me afterwards, and I'll explain those things to you. So we actually recommend spending 25% of your advertising budget online. The internet, building a website, 20% of it should be for building it. 80% of it, the budget for your internet, should be marketing of it. Just like any brochure or anything you do, a major budget should be on marketing of the site or different issues. In closing, the internet is just another medium of business communication, so the basic elements of marketing still apply. Virtual businesses with great ideas and fictitious hits will eventually fall to sound offline bricks and mortar models. The great discovery over the next 2 years will be the learning that clients will not be able to generate quality traffic to their sites until they recognize that positioning is what it's all about, and it has always been in marketing. And positioning is ultimately keyword driven. That means benefits generated. The future of profitability on the internet will come to those who quickly recognize that traffic that comes to the site through search engines from a keyword entry is the only real quality on the web. Now I'd like to take you to another model. I've talked a little bit about internet marketing. Now I'm going to introduce you to an offline model to help generate traffic to the web, as well as a great marketing tool for companies. And what I'm going to explain to you is what we call these are iCards, interactive business cards. They actually house in it all the information of any client, company, if desired to do so. It can be a presentational material, can be a training material, can be an operations manual, etc. I will just show you a few.
Introducing the new Image Runner Series from Canon. Bringing you unsurpassed performance in standalone or network environment. And the level of image quality you expect.
This was done to launch the new Image Runner for their exhibition.
Make way for Image Revolution. specifications. Main unit, high precision laser imaging and developing system with
Just to give you a little idea. It's got the major functions, features of the image runner to learn all about how the image runner works. They hand it out at the exhibitions, they run it as an AVP at the exhibitions, etc. That was given to us in a PowerPoint. That was a PowerPoint we turned into that AVP.
Toyota presents.
We did this for Toyota when they launched their new Corolla Altis with Brad Pitt. I'm sure you've seen the commercials. Skip.
Toyota Movies. The BDTI computer senses the driver's demand and extracts data from the 7 sensors. The BDTI controller continually adjusts the intake valve timing to give the driver the power he wants. Exterior.
Here you have the models of the cars. You can choose any color.
Deep
Not
knot.
all the color comes in. You can take different views of the car.
Play
You
loop.
hit the loop button, automatically play it as an AVP. Go through every part of the whole presentation. And what we're playing here is just a tiny business card. Right?
Toyota expresses its passion
Inside about the car. You probably know this company.
for Management Association of the Philippines. Presents the Management Man of the Year Award.
I noticed there was a lot of banks here. Well, is your name up there? This is a competitive analysis of the keyword positioning in the search engines of the banks here in the Philippines. These are words that if someone was typing them in the search engines, I'm sure you would like for them to find you. So this is one of the things we do is actually analyze anyone's position for any of the different keywords, where they come up. This is a snapshot of their marketing position at a specific time on the internet. Anyone from iBank here?